How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
As a general philosophy.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. How's everybody doing? It is Friday. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV. I'm Preston Johnson, hanging out in the Bets TV studios here in Southern California. Also with Qwan Young, producing, co-hosting, and dealing with... We're pretty late today. This is the latest we've ever started our show, about 4 minutes. So I apologize. Making sure I have the pick every game down. It's on the graphic. We should be covered there. Still need to finalize my round robin. There's 3 for sure I'm using, a few options, so Qwan will have to do that over the course of the show. Other than that, we're good. Look, I had to get ready. I'm going to Vegas right after this. I'm going straight to the airport, flying in for the weekend. Got a haircut before. It's been hectic, but we made it. We're good. Oh, and by the way, our service provider on the phone line said that Putin's minnows are attacking. Again, this is real, supposedly. But the industry's still under attack. The phone lines are faulty. And he said it's Putin's minnows, I believe was the exact quote.
Putin's minions.
Minions.
The minions are after us.
Minions. Like from the movie.
Yeah, the little yellow That's even funny.
Look, here's the thing. I laughed when he called them like bad guys are hacking the system. Then today I got the text that look, Putin's minions are after us. And I was just like, I can't even laugh at this.
I mean,
like they really think Putin's are going after? I don't know.
They're really bad guys.
Do we have a new number today, or is it the same new one?
Same number, 661-338-4628. Let me
338-4628. Okay. As usual, we will try to take your calls. We have a ton of bets to get through this weekend. By the way, who wants to be betting extraordinary day one? Yesterday, I know some people couldn't even get the call in. We still had about 12 that played. Marshall cover, although did you see how that ended, Qwan? Were you watching?
No, I was watching the Panthers or whatever that was.
Yeah, whatever that was. Panthers did cover as well. Marshall's running. They're down 1. App State is running into the end zone, and the guy goes down inside the 5 on purpose so that they could run the clock out. He didn't score so that Marshall couldn't get the ball back down 8, and they take knees at the 2 or 3 yard line. So
that was your tweet.
It came down to, well, here's the thing. Marshall didn't realize the play before. I think it would have worked. I think App State would have just housed it from 60 yards out. Then they called timeout to stop the clock, and they told their team, hey, let them score. It's the only way we're going to get the ball back. And then App State had a chance to tell their running back, hey, whatever you do, don't score. If Marshall had known a play earlier, I think App State would have just gone up that top sideline and scored a touchdown, and Marshall would have had a shot. So the cover came down to that. It was a fun one. Shout out to Marshall, actually outplayed them. They missed a couple field goals, few weird turnovers. All things considered, I felt blessed that ECU won outright on the road to Marshall the week prior because App State's been pretty solid all year, and Marshall hung. We're going to go through every game about mid-show. I'm going to pick a side in every single college football game for tomorrow, and then we'll do the Moneyline Round Robin. I got to relay that to Qwan over the course of the show as well. It's a surprise. People are texting me trying to get it early. Look, not locked in yet. Give me my time.
It's the last one, ain't it?
Usually. If this smashes, then the DGen and me will just fire another one next week. And that's usually everyone asks to, and they want more, and I just give in. But theoretically, I 4 weeks is about right. Now conference play is going to start getting going, and I think those kind of wider variant results diminish. So the advantages, I think, are early in the year. We're good. We can open up the phone lines. Bets TV. This is Last Word Cheetah. Who's up first?
We got Ty.
Ty. All right, Ty, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, man. It's a weird day. We started a little late, but I appreciate you guys tuning in and calling in. What do you got for us this weekend?
I just wanted first and foremost to make sure that I got cut off on the phone lines yesterday, but did you get the A&M pick that I was discussing with you before I got cut off?
We didn't get the side, I don't think.
You wanted A&M minus 4.5, right?
Yeah, Yeah, I sent you a DM since I got pushed off the phone lines.
Yeah, I remember telling Qwan after the fact that Ty wanted to lock in A&M at -4.5. So it should be there. If not, don't worry. We'll give you there's still a 4.5 right now, so you're okay. Which reminds me.
I wanted to.
Go ahead. You're good.
Go ahead.
Nope, you're fine. Go.
I was just going to put in an NFL teaser of Arizona and the Falcons this week for Sunday.
Ooh, the Falcons. Okay. Are they down to 2.5 now? Is that why you're teasing it up? Oh, no, they're still 3.
Yeah.
You can get some 3s, but
okay.
some 2.5 showing. But we can give you, so I can give you a +9 on the Falcons and then a -1.5 on the Arizona side for the teaser.
That works.
Cool, man. We'll lock you in. Appreciate it. And don't worry, you're in for A&M. Don't sweat it.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good afternoon.
Take care. We talked about A&M this week a few times. That I forgot because they canceled the game and added it on the screen. That's not on the graphic. We have time, but put it on the pick every play. A&M -4.5.
All right. If you guys got questions about your standing on the leaderboard, please yell at me when I answer the call.
Or just yell at him like Tone does whenever he wants.
Don't do that, please.
Do we have someone else up?
Yeah, we got Jamie from Atlanta.
All right, Jamie, what's up? How are you doing?
Hey, man, doing pretty well. Swept the board in KBO last night, so that worked out.
Wait a second. You held everyone out. Like I said, hey, are you going KBO? And you said, the board doesn't look very good. And then you did like an NFL player.
Well, 2 days ago I said the board didn't look good. When you gave Carlos, the toughest night of KBO of the week.
Got it.
Yesterday.
Okay. I'm thinking a day before.
Yesterday I threw out a KBO pick that I liked, but I locked in Ohio State first half because I just wanted that line.
Got it. Understood. I was just
I'll go back
messing around
back
anyway.
to KBO today.
Okay.
What's the best number you can give me on the Kiwoom Heroes run line?
Run line. Why run line? Just out of curiosity.
So another pro tip on KBO. Most games don't end at exactly 1. So if you want to take a team full game, generally fine to take them on the run line just because it's pretty high variance in general. So I think I'm looking like +175 instead of like -125. And
I can give you
the Lotte bullpen is gassed. Like they played a doubleheader yesterday. They pitched like 5 or 6 guys both days before that. So it is kind of a toss-up game, and both teams are pretty equal, but kind of just fading the bullpen, and it was such a good price. Figured I'd throw it out there.
So this is interesting because I think one thing with baseball, especially novice bettors in MLB, like just new guys I know have even asked me, friends say, hey, like, why is the run line like just not that much more than the money line or whatever? Like people have questions about these run line differentials and they think like, oh, they're going to win by 2 or more. Like I might as well just bet the run line instead. It just happens more than you'd expect and anticipate for MLB. But here, like, so for example, like Kawoom, you can get on the money line -117, but you can lay 1.5 at +180. Like that's a massive payout if you're saying that the ones aren't landing as frequently anyways.
It's like 10%, I think. It's something super low.
And I think MLB is like 13 to 14%. So it's definitely less than.
It may be less. Yeah, maybe it's probably less than 10% even. It's something really low. And then it changed a little bit with what I told you the other day that they'll tie now. Like there was a game last night ended 6-6. So that'll throw it off a little bit, but still, like generally if you want to take a favorite full game, now you got to deal with the bullpens. But if you want to take a favorite full game, you're generally better off laying.
I might have to, after I get back from Vegas next week, I might dig into this just on my own for fun a little bit because that's almost like a blind edge, if you want to say, that's worth betting, or at least betting on all the sides that you would like anyway, right? Like he was alluding to at the beginning, I think he did drop. So all is well. I'll give you +180 on the run line there. Kawoom Heroes, they play at 4 a.m. Eastern. If you're on the East Coast, enjoy. Qwan gave me a sigh. Joey from Jersey is here, but Putin is under attack. Joey, Do your best. Tell us what you like this weekend.
I want to go to tonight's Charlotte and Middle Tennessee game. I want to go with under 56.5.
Okay. I can give you probably a little bit better than that. Give me a second. Ooh, wait, someone bet 56.5. I don't see any 56s. Excuse me. I don't see any 56.5s. I can give you 56.
All right, I'll take 56.
Yeah, someone liked your side a little bit, it looks like. Been coming down.
Yeah, it opened 57. Yeah, Middle Tennessee's quarterback quit the program earlier in the week, so they're starting a different quarterback. Yeah, they're a mess. Charlotte likes to pound the rock a lot, and both teams are pretty good at finishing defensive drives, so I like the under.
Okay, cool. We will lock you in at 56. I'm intrigued. This is one that's a little inflated from a number perspective, but like then you're like, oh, well, but the other team's just in disarray. Their whole program is. Yeah, I'm not going to bet that game at all, but it's one that I have circled to be like, all right, this could be a wild finish. Cool. That's it, man. We'll lock you in. Under 56. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Take it easy. All right. Go ahead and put him through. Hey, what's up, Patrick? How are you doing?
How's it going, Preston?
Doing well. Doing well. You going to go NFL?
I am going NFL, and I'm going to do one of the teaser legs that Ty had mentioned. I will tease down the tease up the Falcons, I should say, and match that with the Vikings, since they're laying 1.5 now. So that would push them through the 7. And I like this teaser a lot.
And so the Falcons are one you just have to bet straight, I think, if you can still get a 3. But I'll give you the 9 there because it is 2.5 some spots, but you might as well get the 9. And then, Vikings you can get up to 8. So a +9 and a +8. We talked about Minnesota, too. I agree with you on this one. I just think Atlanta was like they were +3.5 on the road against the Giants on Monday. That's insane to me. But we will see if they lose this one
the Giants
badly.
Shouldn't be laying those kind of points to anybody. They really shouldn't.
Like Jacksonville's like that's the range, right? Texans and Jacksonville. Other than that, 3.5 is just too tall.
Yeah. So I think that's a winner.
Cool, man. We'll lock you in. Good luck this weekend.
All right, see you.
See ya. Jim from Philly, welcome to the show again. How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on? I got an NFL pick. I like the Browns. I think they're -7, right?
I can give you a 7 -115. There's definitely some 7.5s around. Most 7s are -120 range. But I can give you 7 -115. There's a couple of those. This is a game, by the way, that I have not heard anybody, media, like doing what I'm doing, actual bettors I talk to, callers so far this entire week. Nobody's touched this game. So give us like your 30 seconds on why you like the Browns here.
They're a better team across the board. I might sell off some points come Sunday here because I think it's a shellacking. They're going to run it down their throats. I'm not a Justin Fields guy, and the Browns are actually the top-ranked rush defense in the league right now, or close to it. I just don't see how this isn't a butt kicking. I really don't.
I am not against it. Also think the Bears they actually almost blew their 20-3 lead to the Bengals anyway, but I still was down on Cincinnati despite them pulling out the week 1 win over Minnesota. Don't want to ever overreact. There's a chance, even though the Bears beat Cincinnati's still a bottom 5-ish team in the league. So I'm not against it, man. It did open higher, too. It's been coming down. -7's kind of the buy low spot for the weekly movement. We'll lock you in there. -7, -115.
I think it was the Fields news drove it down.
Yep. No surprise there. We'll see what he has. I mean, it's one of those, we talked about it with Davis Mills too. Like, what do you expect from a first quarterback, like getting multiple reps or whatever else? Like, it can go either direction. So we live and learn. We gather data, and then we have more to assess with down the road. We'll lock you into the -7, -115, man. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks.
Vladimir next. You just calling us direct?
We got Shank.
Been a while since Shank called in. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Hey, Preston. Doing all right. How about you?
Doing well. Good to hear, brother. How are you looking at betting this weekend? College, NFL?
Nah. So you going to let me do a 3-team tease on the NFL or nah?
I mean, you haven't been calling as a regular caller, so you're probably not going to like manipulate the leaderboard. So I'll let you do. Are you doing a 10-point 3-team teaser?
No, 6.
Okay, 6, and then you want the plus money. Okay. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, the plus 180?
Yes. No problem with me.
All right, cool. Let me get the squarest move of the week. Let me get Baltimore, KC, and Minnesota.
Minnesota might be not as score. I still like the Minnesota side, as did Patrick, our caller, earlier. All right, so Arizona, I can give you down to 1.5. Minnesota up to the 8. And then KC down to 1. Does that work?
I said Baltimore, not Arizona.
Oh, excuse me. I meant Baltimore down to 1.5. And then Minnesota up to 8.
Yeah.
Yep, and then -1 on KC side.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll take that. Why not?
Plus 180. He said it's the squarest bet of the week.
Yep.
You heard it out of his own lips, his own mouth. Hey, good luck this weekend with everything else, man.
Yeah.
Good to talk to you again.
Thanks, boss.
See ya.
All right, bye.
How's it going, Nick? Welcome back. What are you looking at the rest of the weekend here?
Hey, Preston. Seems a little choppy on my end, so hopefully you can understand me okay. But
I got you.
I've got another ugly – you got me? Okay. I've got another ugly play for this week. We're going to go South Florida plus 24 because I see that just popped at Circa.
It did. I was going through my pick every day or every game on the week card, and I literally just finished like right before we did the show, and that was one of like the 5 I just had no clue. But 24 at Circa, I was like, I got to just take 24 now. And BYU's just run so hot with turnovers and stupid penalties from other teams. I'm with you. It's like a freshman QB. It's ugly in altitude, but 24 is too many. We'll lock you in there.
Yep, sounds good. And I was just going to say, if I like South Florida plus 28.5 or 29 against Florida, I should like South Florida plus 24 against BYU, I guess. That was also another rationale for me. But anyway, sorry the feed's so choppy on my end. But anyways, I think I got what you said, though.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate it. For me,
All
it
right,
wasn't actually. It wasn't that bad. But is it choppy for you, Qwan? Like everyone? Yeah. Vlad's definitely trying to call in. Ooh, man, this Stanford UCLA back and forth is crazy, but Stanford money just came crashing in again. I will say this, his point is good about South Florida. Remember, I was just fading Florida the first 2 weeks because I wasn't as high on Florida, especially offensively, which I'll admit wasn't as correct, although they did cover fading them both times. We went 2-0 on those, but they were great against Bama, I thought, especially without Richardson at QB. But to get 24 against BYU, who's just had these weird games they've played against Utah and ASU, which is like the very bottom of Utah and ASU's range of how they could play a game, is what BYU woke up into. And it just, they're eventually in for a rude awakening. Not sure it's South Florida, but can it be South Florida and only beating them by 20? Of course. So 3 TDs covers. I hope the rest of the market doesn't go there because I'm probably going to have everyone that I bet with tell them to bet 24, to be honest. It's so sick. But I'm with Nick. Anyways, we want to try to do one more call, see if they can get through. Yeah, as long as they're working. I just don't know if it's going to be choppy or not. Yeah. All right, go ahead. Put Brian in. What's up, man? What are you looking at for the weekend?
What's up, Preston? I am going to go back to the well with the Patriots money line.
Man, Jeff Ma and Rufus Peabody do a podcast called Bet the Process. Ma's a freaking Pats fan. And basically, Jeff and Matthew Davidow, who was also on as a guest, were like, yeah, Saints shouldn't be +3. Ma's like, hey, wait a second. Like, it's Belichick. Like, Mac Jones might have a higher ceiling than we anticipated. The defense is really good. Got to respect the market. I don't know what to think, but I'll say this. Before the season started, I would have been betting Saints +3. Now I've actually downgraded New Orleans a little bit and upgraded the Pats some. So I'm closer to like the 2.5s, which is basically where the market is at. But money line, going back to your play, -142. That's the best I see. -142 on the Pats. I know you're just a fan and you're firing, but I am intrigued by this game as well. I think we'll learn a lot about both clubs pretty quickly. Yep, go ahead. Put Austin through. Austin, welcome to Last Word Cheetah. What are you looking at for the weekend?
What's up, Preston? Hoping to keep the heater going with these Friday night action here.
Nice.
We had Louisville last week, Coastal Carolina over the week before.
Easy
this
ones.
Week, yeah. Louisville, a little bit of a sweat towards the end there, maybe. Always within the number. But what I'm shooting for here is going with some Wake Forest. I'm hoping you still have +3.5. I know my odd screen was showing +3 at a lot of books.
Yes, plenty of +3.5 out there. I can give you that for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't really know what to think of these teams, both the sample size, who they've played. I don't know what to think of Illinois, and I don't know what to think of FSU. You're gonna give me some points with Dave Clawson. I think he's an underrated coach, and I'll put my faith in Hartman. And I think that defense is a little bit better than people think it is.
I love Clawson. I mean, it's interesting. I can give you you wanted 3.5, right? So I was actually considering. I generally, for my money line underdogs, just do Saturday games. Week 1, they space the games out more, but there are Friday options. I looked at Wake Forest as an option, and the reason being, for one, when in doubt of a game lined in the 70s, like if the line's only 3.5, I think just in general the money lines can be underpriced because it's more coin flippy when you're just expecting that many points to begin with.
Yeah.
And you even can compare it to some of the other lines, that are similar 3.5 range. And I just don't think that they're adjusting money lines in certain cases correctly based on the totals. Regardless, I didn't end up using it, but I'm not against you, man. I think it's one of those whoever has the ball last scores last a good amount of the time. The one concern for me was ultimately on the defensive side. It sucks saying it now because they just gave up 100 to UNC. I do trust Virginia's defense a little bit more. Plus, they're at home. Like that's and that's why the line is what it is. They're slightly better defensively, and they're playing at home. But I'm not against it. I think, this is landing 3 a ton too, and you can cash with +3.5. So we'll lock you in there.
Alrighty, sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one. Who's up? Cool, Andrew. Welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. What do you like this weekend?
I'm going to go with a little bit of action. I'm looking at Toledo with the points against Ball State. Toledo's been a little bit frisky all season. Ball State is still trying to figure out a bunch of different things. They look like one of the worst teams in the MAC right now, so I'm just trying to play the better team here.
Yeah, Toledo was looking frisky till they lost outright last week at home to Colorado State. And Bradley got injured. Then he came back and didn't know how to handle the blitz. We talked about this game before. I'm not sure. I don't think it was with you, but another caller also was buying low, so to speak, on Toledo. So I also have the number a little higher. I've bet on Toledo against Notre Dame and then also against CSU. Went 1-1 and split. But I'm with you. I think it is the side. My one concern is what I said earlier in the week. They could not handle a Colorado State 7-man rush blitz over and over all second half. They literally didn't score. They were 2 for 20 on third down. I don't know. It was very weird. Maybe it was just flukiness. Randomness happens. Also, if they don't know how to handle a blitz and I'm Ball State, I'm just blitzing Bradley every play today or tomorrow. Excuse me. So I'm just kind of sit back, see if Toledo can respond, and then go from there. But it is a little low. So I'll give you the -5. Toledo, we'll lock you in. Good luck this weekend, man.
Thanks, guys.
We got someone else up? All right, we'll take these 2, and then I'll start getting into my pick every play. What's up, Ken? How are you doing?
Not bad. How you doing, Preston?
I'm doing well. What are you looking at for the weekend?
So I'm surprised that you actually have not called it out. So I haven't really adjusted Colorado up or down, and if anything, I adjusted Arizona State down a little bit. So this line is off at 4 or so to me, 4 or 5. So I'm going to go with Colorado. I think there's still 14.5 available.
Yeah, they're for sure. It's 14 or 14.5. You haven't adjusted Colorado down? Why not?
Because they haven't really. They seem to be exactly who they are. If anything, they've surprised, A&M much better, and then they lost to Minnesota, which we all thought they would.
30-0 is
they didn't
telling
color. Yeah, well, again, one game, but they also.
Yeah, so was A&M's backup quarterback.
So, yeah.
I guess you're just you got both sides of the extremes so far. You've had we're a favorite at home to Minnesota and lose by 30, and A&M's back up. But yes, they were winning that game for 3.5 quarters. I get what you're saying. Yeah. So maybe they still are exactly what we thought. That ASU game to me, 19 penalties to 3, 4 turnovers, and they still had the ball, had a chance to win mid-fourth quarter in Provo. I'm not sure ASU's much worse than we anticipated. They just played their F game. I'll give you the 14.5. I have no clue what to do.
They also lost to the line 3 times in a row. So was everyone over touting them? I don't know. I'm not really impressed so far with what I've seen. I actually had them pretty high to start the season. So, anyways, I'm going to go with Colorado, though. I do have another question for you, too. I thought the Georgia-Vanderbilt line seemed strange because, I only have Vanderbilt, 7 less than South Carolina. Do you have them 10? Because otherwise the line's identical to South Carolina. Georgia couldn't cover at home in South Carolina. Now they're going to Vanderbilt, and it's about equates the same. Are they going to come out the same thing?
You want to know how many points lower I have Vandy than South Carolina, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely not 10, and I definitely used Vandy plus 35.5 for my pick every side. So I think you're on the right track.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yep. Appreciate it. You have a good weekend.
No problem. Take it easy. All right, we had one more. What's up, Cam? Welcome back to the show. What are you looking at for the weekend?
Before I give you it's going to be a Sunday play. I just wanted a quick question on. I just wanted your take on the Clemson, NC State, both side and total. If you had any thoughts or opinions there, I was leaning towards both dog and the under in that one.
Everyone wants to bet the under. I said this on Tuesday when I did my totals and was relaying what my discrepancies between my numbers, the market. It was probably the most contrarian total play of the college football season is looking at what Clemson's done offensively and betting at Clemson over. I was looking at this, and I've been bullish NC State, and it was only 47 at the time. Now at 47.5 most spots, some 48s. But I just couldn't get over that I would have had this lined at 56 3 weeks ago. And how much stock do you put into Clemson playing Georgia, who I thought was the second best team in the country entering this season? They were the 8-1 shot I thought was worthwhile before the season. We liked against Clemson directly. Look, not scoring a TD, yes, probably bad news, only 3. Then the Georgia Tech game was really weird with that couple-hour delay. I believe it was just thunder or whatever, but they come back out. Georgia Tech can't score against Clemson. Clemson is basically, there's no halftime. They play 2.5 quarters straight of just prevent, let's hurry and get out of here because we've been waiting in the locker room for 3 hours. I just can't adjust this total.
Clemson's offense can't look worse than it has, basically.
Yeah, they're only going up. Plus, they're just playing, I think, of those 3 teams that aren't their FCS game, the worst defense and one of the worst pass rushes in the country in NC State. This is ultimately, for me, I think can NC State get to, the 17 to 24 range? And if so, this is for sure going over. I still think Clemson can cover, though, and score 30-something themselves because they need to. Dabo's not taking his foot off the pedal if they score 3 TDs and it's going into the fourth quarter. They need to make sure things are clicking because obviously the offense hasn't been as great as past seasons. So I don't know. It's one of those where I just had to say, put my foot down, buy the bottom of this drop in Clemson's offense. And I think if you're betting under now, it's kind of like chasing and paying a premium in a sense. Now buying Clemson laying 10, I think is also fine. Obviously, people have downgraded them quite a bit. So I think it's a buy low on Clemson, which is why I like the over, if that makes sense. So you want to use one of those or use the Clemson side? Oh, he dropped. Putin's like, hell no. Big Wolfpack fan. If he wants to message in the stream or just DM us, Or you can call right back quick and say what play you wanted to lock in. But for now, we'll just consider Clemson minus 10.
We got a few plays before you get in your pick every side. Tom Davis, Texas A&M minus 4.5.
Okay.
Fran Millionaire in the chat says he wants Middle Tennessee State +3, and he's asking, can he get +179?
He wants money line?
+3.
So why does he want?
Call him back in. I'm going to throw him on.
Why would +179? I'm confused about that one. +3s are at 179.
I don't know what happened, but
Go ahead, you're on.
can you hear me?
Yeah, what did you want to go with?
I basically it cut off. I don't know what happened. The call didn't drop. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna give out for Sunday a two leg 6-point teaser. I'm gonna go Chargers. Choose the Chargers up and choose the Saints up. So I get Chargers +13, Saints +9.
Okay, 13 and 9. Quan's laughing because for some reason your voice sounds like a robot with a lisp or something. It's funny. It's not you. It's just the weird effect because of this phone line issue. But we'll give you that, man. Chargers up to 13, Saints up to 9. Beautiful. We'll lock you in, man. Good luck this weekend.
One last quick question for you, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Do you think Juan Soto has a legit shot at MVP in the MLB?
Oh, man, my friend, Spreadopedia, he was saying that
he's been pumping him all summer. I have Soto at 40-1, so he's down to like +450.
Yeah, he thinks it should be him or Muncy. I was at a Dodger game with him like a week and a half ago, and he said like Juan Soto has all the numbers. The Nats just stink, right? Like it's one of those where how much do you value, and is he as good as Trout to just win anyway? He definitely has a shot still, but it's I would say obviously more unlikely.
The Phillies don't make it because if the Phillies make it, then Harper is probably a lock. I think Tatis is kind of done at this point. The Padres are like setting these up, but I think that if all three miss the playoffs, I think Soto's the clear best player in the National League. So I think he should get it if they all miss the playoffs. But I just wanted your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, no problem, man. We'll let you go. Good luck this weekend. Talk to you next week.
Have a good one. You too.
Patrick in the chat. How is Preston deciphering?
It maybe sounds worse through the actual feed than in my ear, but I understand. Maybe it's because I just talk to Pikachu more often.
That's got to be it.
Man, that one was weird though because I'm not joking. It was like imagine a robot speak with a lisp, and he does have a lisp. He had just called in. And he was totally normal speaking, and then it was like robot. It was funny. All right. We ready to do this? Did you add A&M -4.5? If not, I can just make mention of it.
I did. I feel like I'm missing one, though. I don't know which one.
Why is that? I'll go down the list and we'll see. Put it up. Do. Poor guy's like trying to convince me now to go Colorado, but I have the number at 15. I haven't downgraded ASU enough, maybe. But that's one that I'm like, maybe I should switch. The other thing is UCLA, which I did use. I've been saying all week, I prefer the over. We're going to bet the over again like we did last week there. Maybe that's the one you're missing. Where's UCLA? There, you're right. All right, that's 4 now because I mentioned on an earlier call Stanford was getting shellacked again. And we'll see. Someone might just buy UCLA back up to 4.5 like it's been happening the last 3 days. Cool. Most of these games I feel like we've talked about at some point. So I'll try to blitz through them. While I'm going through, Qwan, I'm going to have to send you the Moneyline Dog Round Robins, but I think we're set here. If you're really forgetting someone, we'll add it, but I'm going to go through on the screen, rotation number, and we'll compare. But Minnesota -31, this is one that Pikachu liked for his tail end segment yesterday, and I think is a little bit low, and nothing more to say than probably is going to, if I were to say this goes up, I would say yes. If I thought it was going to go down, I would say no. I think it's closer to 33 true line. So give me 31, but nothing I'm betting. This one's interesting. South Carolina, I think people think Kentucky's short. A few spots went to 4.5, even 1-4. I'll take the 5, but I have no real opinion. Did like Wisconsin. That was one we did earlier in the week, back at 4.5, 5, 5.5. Not sure Notre Dame and Conan and company. with some of the injuries that they're dealing with too, are going to be able to score much. You can say Wisconsin might not score much too. That's true. Colin gave out under 47 when we had him on Wednesday. It's down to 45. So hopefully people were maybe listening to that. Toledo, 4.5s. Gone. I have to eat another half point there. I don't see any 4.5 left. Yep. All right. I'm going to grade that 5. If they win by 5, it'll be a push. San Jose State +3. Just a couple of those left, but it is 2.5 most places. This is one. It's interesting. Lester, I believe it's the name of the coach at WMU, hasn't been with the team since Tuesday. He has COVID, or he tested positive, and I think he's doing totally fine. But he's been away from the team, and it'll be some time. How do you value that? How do you grade that? I'm not 100% sure. It's hard to quantify, like what is he doing from the side, practice. Oh, by the way, that's your guy, right? Lester's his last name, right?
Yeah, Tim Lester.
Yes. Did you know that he had COVID?
No.
He's not coaching? Okay. So you've seen that move from 3 to 2.5 most spots. That's been knowledge, though, since I think Wednesday. So what is that worth? They're coming off a huge win over Pitt, right? Outright on the road. That's why they're favorites here. I think if I was to play this game last week, now I've upgraded Western Michigan quite a bit with their win there, but this would have been like a pick. So I think, yeah, they're better than pick here, but now without their coach and getting a field goal with the dog, give me San Jose State. If that was 3.5, I would be betting it for what it's worth. So it's pretty close, and 3 is just obviously significant. Next is EMU, no opinion at all. I have it 6.5, and there's a couple 6s. So give me the 6.5. Excuse me, the -6 for this exercise. Kent State, that was an over at 67.5. We talked about on Tuesday, as high as 71 now in the market. Hopefully that's a W. Give me the 14.5. For the sake of this exercise, my projection is like 13.9. So 14, I think, where it's at most spots is perfect. Illinois +11, pretty ugly, but I have it at 10 flat, so give me the 11. Coastal Carolina, this is one I disagreed with Pikachu's tail end segment. I thought it should be 38. I'll just take the 36. It's UMass. That's usually all you have to say. CMU, Florida International, no opinion on this one either. Give me the 11.5. I was a little closer to 13, not quite. And it's one that if it was, I think it opened some places at 10, if I'm mistaken. Let me see. No, it got down to 9.5, 9, 10, and it's been bet back up. That was probably the dip, and I probably would have considered betting at 9, 9.5, but nothing now. Army -7.5, that's on there. Yep, we're good. No bet there, just have to fire. I'll take the Akron. No Stroud. There's no plus sign in front of it, so I'll just count it as a W no matter what. It's okay, Qwan. But plus 48.5 with Akron. Look, here's the deal. No Stroud. They're probably the backup's not very good. Can they throw over Akron with a backup that isn't very good? Of course. But I think they're just going to try to get out of this game healthy. They're giving Stroud the game off essentially. Anyway, can Akron on an Ohio State defense has been awful, even against Tulsa. Like, they weren't very good again. Can Akron get to like 10? Okay, yeah. Then all right. Is Ohio State scoring 60 where they don't cover this? Like, I don't know. I feel like kind of like Akron the more I think about it, and was looking at this earlier. So give me the 48.5 here. ULL -14. I know some people that bet 13.5. Wasn't enough for me, but I'll take the 14 for this exercise. Next, it went a little bit out of order potentially. By the way, we skipped ULL earlier on the board. I'm going in order of rotation. We'll make sure everything's up there, though. Is Boise. I think it's a little bit of a look, and I loved Utah State against Air Force. That was the money line option last week. I think this is a little low. It's a little overreaction to their win. They have been much improved. Before this season, this line would have been like 17 or something. So is Utah State over a TD better, combined with Boise being that much worse because they didn't score at home to Oklahoma State last week at all and lost? Look, Oklahoma State's a solid team too, and I thought that number was high all week. That was when we talked about. So didn't really downgrade Boise much. Ooh, the green. That's sexy. We're in good shape now. So going to roll with Boise at -9. Next one on the rotation, Duke -16. Ugly. Whatever. Missouri, I said earlier in the week, I was like, I like Missouri, but I think this is going to come down. All the numbers people, I don't think are valuing Djokovic correctly, but it's probably going to come down from 2, 2.5. Here we are at 1. It's probably going to be pick tomorrow. That's just kind of the market read that ended up unfortunately being correct because, yeah, Ohio Northwestern. Ohio plus 15. Man, I don't even know what to say. Ohio's been so bad. And I've been downgrading them, but Northwestern's been worse than anticipated as well. And any Northwestern team laying over 2 TDs is just like, all right, give me. I think someone called in and actually took Ohio this week on the show, and I don't disagree. Georgia Tech, I can get 14 now. It went up to 14 at Circa. You know why I missed it? I was doing it during my haircut. It moved 5 minutes before my haircut ended, and I was going down. I was like giving you notes. All right, so I can get 14 now on the Georgia Tech side. I'll take that, but I have to give up half on Toledo. So I'll track these. Obviously, odds are they're not going to land right on the numbers regardless. Iowa's 1. I know some people that disagree. I thought it should be like 25, and I liked laying 22.5, 22 earlier in the week. Still mostly 23, but quite a few 22.5s. Take it, Western Kentucky. Give me the 9.5. At 10, I'd play it, period. So I think they're going to be able to score enough on Indiana. Defense that just the weird game against Cincy and how they choked that away. About to go up 21-0. Going to half up 14-7 after the captain of the defense gets the targeting hit. And I believe he has to sit for a half, right? I'm pretty sure he has to sit for the first half of this game too. Anyway, like Western Kentucky. And let's see, Florida Atlantic, we've talked about plenty. The plus 4.5s, I'm not seeing 4.5s anymore. I might have to go 4 there. I'll double check. But we talked about that before. Just going to fade Air Force again. I think they've just been overvalued the last 2 weeks. Give me the points. Utah minus 15. Delora, he was the one that was up 14-0 against USC. USC's quarterback gets hurt. Dart comes in. Kid from Utah, by the way. My dad was talking about him, raving about him. I was like, oh, I didn't even know he's from Pleasantville, Utah or something. Anyways, he lights it up. What do we expect here now? Washington State gets lit up also because Delora got hurt and didn't play most of that second half on the Wazoo side. And I think he's obviously better than the backup. That's what we saw against USC. They haven't said as of the report yesterday who's starting, if he'll be able to play. I'd just stay the hell away, but people banging Utah earlier this week, I'm going to trust that they might know that Delora's out. That's it. That's my one read I have on this game is the move to 15 early in the week from the 13 is at least somewhat trustworthy in the sense that Delora's probably just going to miss the game despite them not revealing it till tomorrow. That's all I got, but would never bet that. Hawaii, ugly as can be, but laying 17. They've been so bad, but it's New Mexico State, who's still my worst graded team in the entire country. I project it to be 18, so give me 17. Just have to. South Florida, the 24, we talked about that, the last caller. It's ugly. Just have to go with that one. I'll stick with ASU, but I feel like maybe I'm just wrong. Because his read on the Vandy, Georgia game was spot on, and like my difference was like 6.9 between them and South Carolina. And he's like, if that it should be at least 10 if we're looking at the same lines. And so I was like, that was pretty sharp. And then he says the Colorado line's 4 high. Anyway, I'm 15 though, so I think that it's probably a combination of me not giving Colorado respect for the A&M win because of the backup, and then not downgrading ASU after losing to BYU. So give it one more week. We'll see. I'm not betting the game myself regardless, but for this, got to put one up there. I'll lay the 14. UCLA -4. I'll get the other half there since Stanford was just hit a few minutes ago. USC now, I think Slovis has been practicing, mostly 11 in the market. I'll get a 10.5. I'll just take it. But look, they're always the team when they're laying this range. You should just fade them. But like their power numbers are always higher. I'm pretty sure I'm 13 range without Slovis and with him theoretically being better than Dart, although maybe Dart's actually just as good. Time will tell. But then maybe it's more like 2 touchdowns for me. But people have been betting Oregon State all week. I'll play the other side. Louisville, FSU, man, what a disaster FSU is. Just give me the 2 because numbers say so, but I would never touch that game. Okie State under 6 now. I like. Lay the 5.5. I think that's a worthwhile bet. Talked about valuing Skylar Thompson, and Okie State's escaped. They're 3-0 I think the Bear said on his podcast with Stanford Steve this week, they're the worst 3-0 team in the country. He didn't mean it in that sense that obviously they're better than a lot of 3-0 teams that are like in the MAC or whatever, but his point was like the luckiest to be 3-0, and they're probably not as good as their results show. So he could be right, but I have this number quite a bit higher, mostly because of the KSU side. I think it being a little more down on that side. Bama, lay the 45. Saban was capturing players' families all week. If they don't win by 100, who knows what happens. Lay the 45. I don't care what the first half is. Lay it. Vandy plus 35.5 at Westgate. Mostly 35s, 35.5 offshore as well. Just going to take that. There's a minus. Ooh, we're going to get another key half point on the Iowa State game. Just went to 6.5 at a couple spots. Whew, that's my buy point. We talked about it on Monday. Went from 6.5 to 7.5, and now it's headed back to 6.5. I think Iowa State beats Baylor by 7 or more. I jumped out of order. I'm going to go back in order. Navy, Houston. Oh, gosh. All right. Toon is hurt. I think it was a Grambling State is who they played. He got hurt. He's the quarterback for Houston. I'm not even sure if he's a go. That's why the number's low. They might not risk it against a Navy team that's atrocious. But if he doesn't play, this is one of those where I have to, for the sake of the exercise, pick a side before I have all the info. I'm going to think that he plays. If he plays, it should be 20-ish. If he doesn't play, then it probably should be like 17. And I would take Navy. So I have to just hope that he plays. I'm going to lay it with Houston, but hate the game at this point. There's nothing I would do. Interestingly, this OU number, I forgot what mine was. Give me a second. This is worth looking up. Is Rattler and Oklahoma have just been disappointing, to say the least, the entire time. What's the rotation on this? There we go. So I have it just over 17. I don't think he'll mind sharing this. Just bear with me. This will be worth everyone's time. So I work with Rufus a little bit on his college football. He mostly just bets his stuff, but makes sure he's not missing an injury and asks me. He's 18. I'm a little over 17. Like, we're just slightly higher on OU than the line. That's 17 across the board, except somebody went into Circa this morning and they moved it from 17 to 18, but no one else moved it. I don't know the incentive there. I'm sure they took a bet, and usually if they're moving a point like that off of a 17, like it was a significant bet, I imagine. But the fact that the rest of the market didn't move makes me think it maybe isn't as strong, or it was just a big bet from like a tourist, right? So I'm intrigued. I have to go 17 just because my number's a little higher. But, man, like, they've just been so bad. It feels like West Virginia's defense is good enough to keep that within 2.5 scores. But I'm not going to go with my feel. I'm going to just lay the 17. Mississippi State, this should probably be closer to pick. Threes were around most of the week. Take the 2.5 just because. But that's coming down. That's probably going to head towards pick, to be honest, by tomorrow. UConn, ugly, but have to take, I think it's still 30.5. Look, Wyoming laying over 4 TDs on the road. Like, it's still Wyoming. Hold your horses. I know it's UConn, but they did score 21 in the second half against Army. You never know. They might just be backdoor kings this year. A&M added, thank you, -4.5. UAB, give me the 3.5. That was not quite a bet for me, but one that I did have basically lined at a field goal. So the 3.5 was, I think, the right side. Texas playing against everyone's steam. Got bet from like 11 down to as low as 8. Give me the 8. Why not? UTSA, love them. Talked about that earlier in the week. I'll still take the 3. I think they're going to win that game outright. You can actually get a 3.5 at like -115 still, for what it's worth. I'll just grade it at 3, though, for this thing. TCU, no opinion, but give me 9. There's a couple 10s out there, so kind of just shopping and playing the number. My personal projection's right at 10. Already talked about Iowa State. Give that to me. At 6.5, Tennessee hasn't moved a ton. There's a few 20s left, mostly 19 range, but that's one we talked about earlier as well in the week. I think it should be 16. I think I credit Florida for what they did, but I still think Bama took his foot. Nick Saban, particularly with a young quarterback, a defense he trusted. He's up 21-3, and he's like, hey, we can win this game. And I think he almost cost himself the game. And I'm not giving Florida as much credit as I think others probably are. And I'm not downgrading Bama as much as others probably are, for what it's worth. So, Anyway, give me the Tennessee. That's a lot of points, to be completely honest, and a defense that can, I think, keep it within 3 TDs. Clemson, lay the 10. Nebraska, taking the 5. Games we have talked about recently. Rutgers, give me the 20.5, although they're out 2 of their secondary since I think that news came out on Wednesday. This one I hated, ULM plus 24, just had to pick. Auburn's close. I know some guys that laid Auburn. Colin, actually, not on our show, but he was talking on a separate show. He said, if you look at Harsin off of losses of Boise State, they average like 52 a game in their next opponent. And in this case, like it's Auburn versus Georgia State, and Auburn already ran it up and scored 60-plus twice before they just lost to Penn State. He thinks it's definitely they're not letting off. They're going to, play the entire 60. They're not taking guys out, even if they're up by 24, 31, whatever it may be. So that's kind of, my read is that it should be around 27, but I'm just going to say that, okay, maybe Harsin wants to just slam it home and they run it up. So it's not like Georgia State's been very good. Arkansas State, give me the 14.5. There's one. Wait, hold on. There's a 15. Yeah, there it is. Okay, there is 115. Confirming. Buffalo, Old Dominion, give me the 12.5 with Buffalo. Just shopping a little bit. Nothing too significant there. Nothing on any of these games going forward, to be honest. North Texas, ugly. I'll take the 11.5. UNM, New Mexico. I know people that bet them when they were a dog. It's -2 now. UTEP has some issues on their end, I think, with health, and that's part of the movement as well. I'll just trust the market, lay the 2. I think both teams stink anyways, so it's not a game I'll be watching. Man, someone's really hammering Baylor now. I'm going to be mad if this goes under 6, because 6 I thought would be the bottom. Anyways, I'm going sidetrack. Everyone's waiting for the round robin, which I haven't even given to you yet. I got a flight in 30 minutes. I got to leave too. We got to do betting extraordinaire. Give me Cal plus the 7.5. It's a low-scoring game. Washington might still suck. Congrats, you beat Arkansas State, but look, you lost an FCS school. You lost to Michigan by 100. Cal and Wilcox and their defense can keep it close. Give me the 8, actually. There's 1-8. Reminder. And Arizona 29, don't even want to talk about that. There's a lot of ugly games on this board, especially for conference games. That's just like, first week of conference play or second week of conference play, and it's just like, I have nothing to do with it. I don't want anything to do with it. So I don't think we missed anything. We have them all up there.
Score one for the good guys.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to need to do some money lines. I'm going to need to do a little calculations. Everyone go get a drink. Go use the restroom. I need about 2 minutes. Qwan, can you mute my mic? We're good. Thanks for holding, everybody. Take a drink. We're going 6 teams. Quan's right. It's usually the last week. We're up thanks to 2 of the 3 weeks so far being pretty profitable. What is the number, by the way? Did you add it up? Did you add 43, Qwan? Or whatever it was before, I can add 43 to it in my head. I just don't remember what the number was. 128? He's working on it. It's all good. We're on a huge rush. I just have a plane to catch. That's all. That was before the 43? Okay, you already added it. I was going to say, I thought it was in the 120s or something. All right. So we're up 175x on round robin legs. By X, that's like how many legs? So 175 legs, whatever your actual unit is, whatever. But 6 teams ends up being 56 legs. So this, look, go smaller if you don't want to fire 56x at this, because there's for sure a chance I go 0-6. Now overall, we still end up 120 something on the season, but I think they're all worthwhile. There's also one in there that I wasn't going to include, but I think, and I meant I'll go to it. I'll go straight to it while Quan's wrapping up the graphic. Mississippi State. I think it's headed to pick. I think it should be pick, and you can get plus 115 range still in a round robin. All of the ones I think we've done actually through 3 weeks that were that plus 120 or cheaper, that I was just like, hey, you're getting plus 115, plus 120 on a coin flip. Luckily have won. Hopefully this is another one that is good enough to come home. Look, they should have won that Memphis game. Mississippi State's better, and that was super fluky, and they had one of the weirdest no calls on a punt that got taken back to the house that you'll ever see. Thank you, Qwan, for being quick. I know I didn't give you much love or time. I give you love.
You know what?
All right, let's just stop talking about love.
Yeah, that's what
that
the
I
women
give.
say.
I didn't give him time before today. He was rushing multiple times. So that's on me, but we're going to start with Mississippi State. UTSA and UAB, I think, are games. You know what? I think UTSA, I'm not sure why. I meant to, if I said UAB, I meant to say FAU. We're fading Air Force again, so that's probably my fault. But it's don't do UAB if people are looking at it. It's all good. He'll get it sorted out. This is what you get to. So let's do plus 170 on Florida Atlantic. That's the price for that, and take out UAB. Yeah, just 170 flats, fine. Yep. All right, so it's the same amount of legs. He's getting this sorted. UTSA, again, we like them already. They're going to beat Memphis. I think Nebraska, Tone liked it. I'll go with Tone sometimes, but also know some people that took the 5 points. I also just think, man, the Sparty results are weird, but when you get Miami missing 16 tackles and turning it over 4 times, you just look a lot better than you should, and I'm not buying 100% yet in on the whole Sparty thing. And this is a team that we liked before the year, over 5.5 wins. I think this is a lot closer, a little more coin flippy than a plus 175 price tag, as is Cal against Washington, who there's this chance. This is what happened last week. I didn't want to bet Cal or the Arky State game. It was like, hey, we were embarrassed twice. A friend of mine messaged me during the game. He was like, how did we not lay at Washington? I was like, man, they might really just be that bad. Even though they win that game by like 40, they could still be bad. This market price, in my opinion, is back towards it's closer to Washington was just weird those first 2 games and they're actually good than it is that they could still be bad. Does that make sense? I'm trying to articulate that I think the reaction from weeks 1 and 2 to 3 is probably still more trustworthy than the reaction back. And you've seen the market move from Cal plus 9.5 down to 7.5 now. So I'll take 250 on a defense from Wilcox that I think it's probably going to be a close game. It's going to price this pretty high. We got FAU in there again, Fade and Air Force again. Great defense that I think has a real shot. And then the last one, Western Kentucky. This is the one I wasn't sure I was going to add if we were going to do 6 along with Mississippi State. It was like I always try to do 4 or 5. And I was like, let's just go for 6. So it was add Mississippi State because that's, I think, just value. And then Western Kentucky plus 300. I will say Most places are like 280s. It's fine. It's fine there. Look, Indiana, I don't know. How do you bounce back from a chance to beat like a top team at home? You're about to go up 21-0 and your captain gets ejected out of the game. You end up losing the game. Like, they're going to try to be like, hey, let's do this. But Western Kentucky, they adopted like the offense from Houston Baptist. It's just been like, we throw almost every play, up-tempo, in your face. And like, I mean, they did it against Army. They came back and actually backdoor covered there. I don't want to give Indiana like too much of the, they're in a bad spot. I just think schematically, defensively, it's going to be hard to hang with like a really up-tempo Western Kentucky offense that's been grooving. Even in their losses, they're still scoring a bunch of points. So I just think it's worthwhile at a 3-1 clip, plus 286, 285, 290. Those are all the prices in there. I think if that one's right, when you're playing like that style of there's going to be 60 to 70 points in the game. I think oftentimes the market is undervaluing the variance in the distributions, similar to we talked about Wake Forest tonight's game against Virginia, a total in the 70 range now. This is similar. Like, I think when you're getting into a total that's like, this is probably a money line price relative to the point spread that should be a little cheaper. So we're going to plug it in, drum roll up. Again, it's 56 legs. That's a lot. So at 100 a leg, but when you're up like 175, you're like, oh, it's free. So you shouldn't, but you do. That's just how you feel. Again, bet less if you're going to do all 6 and you want to lock in more profits from less. For sure could go 0-6 or 1-5 and we just get scooped. Hopefully not. But if this wins, we're cashing $281,000. Over $250,000.
Won't see me on Monday.
There's been 3 times in my Twitter career, we'll call it, that I've been close on ones that paid over 200 to like 300 range. One time I think it was like a $416,000 one that came down to the final game. And the team that I needed was up 21 in the fourth quarter.
Oh my God.
And lost. Went to overtime. I'm just going to stop there. So we're going big. It's probably the last week I do these. So 6 legs, $281K. Take a shot. Good luck, everybody. We got day 2 of Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire happening right after this stream ends. We'll put up another link. We'll get through. I think there were 5 winners from yesterday. Was that official?
4, I believe.
Only 4. Marshall and Carolina. We'll double check. He has them written down. Don't try to call him, pretend like you won. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. Good luck. College football week 4, NFL week 3. I'll be in Vegas. Probably won't be tweeting as often, or I'll be tweeting even more. I'm not sure. We'll see how Vegas goes. But either way, we'll be back Monday, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific for another show. Last Word Cheetah. Thanks again for everyone that participates, calls in, and tunes in.